Alright, so what we're getting ready to do is replace this Hydro Boost unit on this older GMC van, basically a Chevy van. And so what's going to have to happen is I have to remove these two nuts, slide the master cylinder out a little bit, take off the lines and this hose, and then I can go inside the car, remove the 4 bracket bolts, and get this thing free. So we're going to start with that. We're going to start by removing these. Now, I believe these are a 15, and I could be wrong. Yeah, I think I am. It might be a 16. So here's a 16, and it doesn't quite fit. So I do believe that is a 15. So we'll go back and get the right one. All right, so now we have a 15. 15 seems to fit pretty good. Now, I'm fairly certain someone's had this off before just because of these extra large washers that are on here. That's not normally something you would see. Now what this car has been doing is the power steering has been overflowing and been causing it to lock up the brakes. And the only thing related to both, of course, is the Hydro Boost. Now I have the new unit right here, and this will be where the plate bolts on and how this all fits together. Okay, so the two fittings are completely different sizes, so that should not be any issue at all. We'll set that down. And try to swing this out of the way without unhooking anything. So we'll set that off to the side. Now we'll move the camera back over here. So looking in here, this seems to be a little bit different on the inside than the one that I have here in my possession to put back on. Now sometimes these will have adjustable rods that might make things operate differently. However, this should not have those extra washers on it. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and break these lines loose, but it looks like someone's really damaged them. So first things first, we're going to try a proper line wrench, but it looks as though that whoever has done this has really kind of butchered the lines before. Now this line, I believe, is okay. It's the other one that is really damaged. So that's loose. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use these smooth jaw pliers and grab the line. It shouldn't be really tight, so there we go. And we're not going to add any more damage to it and have them more rounded off than they already are. This is why proper tools matter so much. Just because with proper tooling, this stuff doesn't happen. So those are both loose. We'll worry about that one last. Now the next thing to do is go inside the car and remove the nuts that hold that on, plus the pin for the brake pedal. So here's our brake pedal. This thing here is barely hanging on. So we do have a couple of screws to remove there to go ahead and take this piece here down so we can be able to see all we need to be able to see with the pedal. Now, truthfully, we could probably take loose that one big nut and not have to take off the 4 bolts for the plate. So we have a 10, and a couple of Phillips that we're going to take out. Okay, so I'm back. We'll go ahead and remove these couple of Phillips. Take out that tin and the 2 cans that are here for the hood release pull. Okay, so that's loose. Really busted up though. All right, so now we can see the cotter pin that holds the brakes on up here, right there. And that brought along some long needle nose pliers to be able to pull this cotter pin out. Although right now the angle I'm having to look in here at, I'm getting the sun right in my face from where I need to be with this. So let's set this back down here. So right now what we're going to do is pull that clip and then unbolt the bracket. From there we'll take it out and remove the big nut, put it all back on in the same order, and then slip it back in the car. So let me see if we can move this over here, possibly where the camera can see at least a little bit. So we're going to be able to reach and pull this pin. So that did work. I was able to get that free, and it's just pretty tight to get in here. There's not a good angle to reach around the steering column. And grab the pin, because there's all the wiring is right there in the way. Okay, there, that's all the way up. So this is the clip right here that holds the rod to the pedal. So now we have 4 what appears to be like 15s that hold that on. Yes, 15. So I have a 15 swivel socket. That I'm using to take this out with. Now, if I went and grabbed me an impact gun, which is what I'm going to do, this will go much faster. Alright, so I'm back. I have my gun. Should be able to make quick work of this. I think that's one of the nicest things that tool manufacturers ever did with impact guns, was put a light on them. Then they went and put some longer studs on the top. So now I got to go find a semi-deep wobble. I'll be right back. Sometimes it seems like car manufacturers and tool manufacturers work against the technicians to make sure there's so many different tools that you couldn't possibly have them all. Okay, so that's all 4 of those, and that's loose. So now we'll go back around to the front. And we're going to go ahead and take out that one screw right there for the hose clamp. Okay, that's kind of loose. Well, at first I thought initially when this guy brought me this van that it had some work done to it, like recently. But with the way this hose fits, there's just no way. Okay. Now, ideally, that would just stay where it's at. I don't know if it's going to. We're going to try. All right, so here is our old, and here is the new. Look pretty much the same, except that plate has not been fitted yet. And there's one other thing. If you look in the face of it, that one's empty. And this one has a shim inside that we're going to have to get out. So we'll grab the needle nose. Pull all that out. We have that in there as well. So now, when we look inside, they look the same. that. Kind of how that ought to go. This fits like this. This is the hard part, trying to get this little washer back in it. Okay, so I guess that was one. That wasn't that bad after all. So the washer's back in. Now we got to get a big pair of pliers and pop that off. And hopefully these same smooth jaws will do the job I needed to do. If they don't, I have bigger ones. So this is the nut. I gotta go see if I have something comparable to this that I can use. Alright, so we're back again. I have these pliers. Have a good grip. So that loose. You see, it wasn't really all that tight. I just needed to get a good grip on it. So it goes off. Now you see it's got a guide piece on it. So whenever you go to put this back on, you really want to put one way. Now we're going to go ahead and tap it a couple more times. Make sure that it's nice and tight. You may have to rotate it a little bit to get a different bite. Now that's good. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in the car. This has a core, so we do have to save all the fittings that came off and put them back in. Because when we return this part, we don't want it to be a big mess. We'll go ahead and raise this. Now, make sure we're putting it back in the same direction as we took it out. So, while this is still loose, I'm going to go ahead and start these lines, because having a little bit of wiggle here should make it easier to get these lines started. So that one starts up nice and easy. This other one here, because there are things getting in the way, makes this one a little bit more difficult. It's like that it's binding against the part of itself here. Okay, there we go. Now those are both started. Now we're going to go ahead and slide these off. And then slip this back over and get it started.